All right, guys. So I've been over this numerous times, but there is a positive correlation with IQ and lack of religiosity. There's various studies that are done on this, and every single time the exact same results are shown. This shows replication in science and shows that this is absolutely true, like without a doubt. Like at this point in time, you can't deny it. Not logically, anyway. So there are always exceptions, and I've stated this many times. There are intelligent people who believe in a God. Now, it's very important that you're able to parse the individual from the big picture. Now, if we look at things from the big picture and you analyze the data, the higher your IQ, the more likely that you will not believe in a god or gods. This is without question, absolutely true. So now we look at things from an individual perspective. And yes, there are people who are highly intelligent who believe in a god, but they are more uncommon. Now, then we're left with this conundrum, I guess. How do you explain the people who are intelligent, even if they are less common, who believe in a god or gods? Well, DarkMatter2525 has been on the internet for a very long time. He's huge in the atheist community, and he is a pioneer in thought, and at least in my opinion. He sort of has a video, an old video that's still extremely relevant, that aims to tackle this question. And I think he does a really good job of it. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. He does a far better job than I could do, especially with his animation and everything, which kind of lends to an ability to teach.
I've been told that there have been a lot of intelligent people throughout history who have believed in God. That's true. While you ponder the significance of that, I'd like you to consider Marcus. This is Marcus, and he's a very intelligent guy. He heard a pretty ridiculous claim from an anonymous source. He immediately didn't believe it and went about his day without giving it further thought. Later, Marcus heard a friendly acquaintance make the ridiculous claim, but despite the claim's ridiculousness, Marcus trusted the source, so he actually believed it. Yet because the ridiculous claim isn't actually true, you might think that it won't be too difficult to convince Marcus that he shouldn't believe it. And at this point, indeed, it might not be too difficult to convince him of the truth. I mean, he is an intelligent guy. Now let's change the circumstances. Let's say that Marcus was raised from birth to believe the ridiculous claim. If that's the case, it will be much more difficult to convince Marcus that the claim isn't true. After all, it was taught to him and consistently reinforced throughout his life by his parents, the very people nature has set him up to trust the most, regardless of their knowledge, or lack thereof, of the actual truth. Let's change the circumstances again. Let's say that not only was Marcus raised from birth to believe the ridiculous claim, but that the community of people who live around Marcus and his family were also raised believing the same ridiculous claim. At this point, Marcus's belief will be reinforced by many other people besides his blood relatives, including probably his spouse. His belief will be considered the norm, and anything that contradicts it will seem alien and wrong. Now, it will be very difficult to convince Marcus that the ridiculous claim is false. Let's change the circumstances yet again by simply adding many years to the effect. Let's say that the ridiculous claim has persisted throughout many generations. Marcus's community is merely the most recent community to have been raised with this belief. And the ridiculous claim throughout the years has caused beloved traditions to develop. Traditions that provide happiness, stability, familiarity, and comfort. Those traditions gave rise to institutions. The ridiculous claim has rolled down a mountain like an avalanche, gaining momentum. And now there are holidays that celebrate its different aspects. Entire buildings constructed to facilitate rituals developed from the ridiculous claim, complete with specialized vocations, hierarchies, uniforms, schools, and inspiring works of art in every medium. Naturally, intense tribalism develops, bonding people who believe the ridiculous claim, thereby affecting political policy from the least powerful forms of government to the most powerful. This intense tribalism also causes the stigmatization and ostracization of anyone who does not believe the ridiculous claim, even amongst friends and family. Historically, and even in some regions to this day, disbelievers may be tortured and killed. At this point, not only would the ridiculous claim seem obviously true, but the truth itself would seem obviously ridiculous. Convincing Marcus at this point becomes an exercise in futility, as anyone who comes bearing the truth would not only seem ridiculous, but strange, devious, and even evil. Let's change the circumstances of final time. Let's say that the ridiculous claim bears with it a caveat that believing it results in the ultimate reward, while disbelieving results in the ultimate punishment. Now, not only does Marcus have a tremendous incentive to believe what has already been relentlessly instilled in him to believe since birth, but he also has an incentive to spread the ridiculous claim to those who are unaware, or to convince those who disbelieve so that they too can be saved. In this way, using Marcus's goodness, the ridiculous claim reproduces, causing people to think that not only should they believe it, but that they need to believe it. Add this to all the previous circumstances, and it would be simply amazing if Marcus could ever see the ridiculous claim for the falsehood that it is, despite the fact that he's an intelligent guy. The funny thing about the truth is that it will remain true, even if you weren't raised to believe it. The truth requires no indoctrination, communities, traditions, institutions, governments, apologetics, stigmatization, tribalism, incentives, or punishments. Yet without these things, the ridiculous claim would utterly disappear, never to resurface. The truth, however, will remain true and available to be discovered even if nobody spreads it by the edge of a sword, or by the point of a gun, or by the explosion of a bomb, or by a parent to their child. At some point, maybe, just maybe, one day, Marcus will ask himself why the ridiculous claim needs so many dirty tricks to be believed.
Very well produced video, especially considering it was 9 years ago, yet still incredibly relevant today. Now, don't get me wrong, as I've said time and time again, religion is dying. Very slowly, but it's dying. But all of the things he said is absolutely true. And I think that is like the crux of what people need to realize. They need to kind of practice the Socratic method and kind of backtrack and go back through their history of thought in their ridiculous belief. And I think they will find that what DarkMatter2525 here is saying is absolutely true of them. It's a series, and this is how he doesn't directly say it, but this is how you know that religion was created as a means of control, to control people. It's not real. It's not it I mean, it should be on its face like not real because of the grandiose claims that have absolutely no evidence to back them. And they're grandiose because there's absolutely no evidence to support them whatsoever. Not only that, but nothing in reality comports with the claims in any of these religions. Like, if anything, science comes along, we learn new things, and then they twist their like holy books to fit it. It's like the other way around. And then they go, see, my religion knew this before, but that's not what happened. You used mental gymnastics to change the words, which are highly ambiguous, by the way. And that alone, that alone, the fact that your words are highly ambiguous, that in every single major organized religion, there are various denominations and people who disagree on interpretations, that alone should be seen as evidence that it's all bullshit. Because if it were the quote word of God, there wouldn't be any ambiguity. There wouldn't be any room for debate, period. It would be absolutely clear cut. That should be obvious. So yeah, it's it's a control mechanism, and it's a very, very powerful one because again, one of the biggest is that each of them, or almost all of them, reinforce very early this sort of mind control technique that you are given the pinnacle of reward if you believe this ridiculous claim. Yet, if you don't believe in this ridiculous claim, you are given the ultimate punishment. There's no need for any of that sort of like reward and punishment if you have the truth. The very fact that that is like required to keep your whole ridiculous claim intact is enough for a highly intelligent person to see it for what it is. But there will always be mental gymnastics. There will always be like someone that's so indoctrinated, so caught up in these ridiculous claims that you just won't be able to reach them. It's sad because it's strange because I am similar to the devout Christian, for example, that seeks to spread his belief, his ridiculous claim, because he cares. And again, Dark Matter goes over this in detail, that the very nature of the good nature of the believer is used as a vehicle to spread this ridiculous claim further. Yet that's the exact same position that I'm at when I'm trying to tell people that they're wasting their lives. The difference is I have logic on my side. Like, I'm not just a person that's been indoctrinated, right? Like, if I'm right, and based on the evidence, it's extraordinarily likely that I'm right, you are spending your entire life almost like a walking zombie. You have these beliefs that are not rooted in reality, and you, most importantly, you believe that you're going to get another shot. You believe that you're going to leave, like this is like a temporary fucking shithole, like on like a step into your like true life after you die here. Now, what happens when you believe this? What happens is, even if it's not like extreme, even if it's subconscious, You waste your life because you think this isn't as important as it should be. And that's sad. You're not going to get another fucking shot. This is it. I shouldn't say that as a fact, but let's put it this way. According to the evidence, it is extraordinarily likely that this is the only shot you're going to get. Let's put it that way. And that matters because all we have is things that you can measure, evidence, lack of evidence. That's all we have. Science. And according to science, that is more likely the truth than not. In any case, I'm not going to drone on forever, as I tend to do. DarkMatter2525 probably laid it out way better than I could. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your time, and feel free to chime in any comments you may have, and I'll respond accordingly.